Good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson.
I'm Diane Sawyer, and it's Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
CBS News, I'm Nick Young. A disaster in downtown New York City. Pilot Tom Kaminsky has more.
We are now looking at flames shooting out of the north side of number 1 World Trade Center.
That looks like a second plane.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
September 11th started like any other day. I got up, I went to Minion, expected to go to work. I came out of shul, not knowing anything happened. As I'm crossing the street, a Hatzalah member says a plane went into the towers. I ran home, told my wife, I'm not going to work, grabbed my radio, drove to Kingston Avenue, jumped onto the ambulance, and we had 8 people that volunteered to rush to help out.
Heroes are shaped long before they're called upon to act with extraordinary courage, through the values they're taught, the examples they're shown, and a lifetime dedicated to serving others.
Always had a passion to help people. My brothers and I used to help clean up the shul. We used to set up shalashudas, and we used to actually go to visit the sick in the local hospital. In high school, I moved on to Gan Yisrael camps. The purpose of going was to give children an opportunity to have a wonderful summer to infuse Yiddishkeit and warmth into their lives. I was in San Diego for a summer. I then went to Encino, California. Camp was fantastic, the kids were fantastic. My wife also volunteered in that camp as well. Always had a desire to want to be involved with medicine. They were talking about starting Hatzalah in Far Rockaway when I was still a teenager, and I actually joined the first meeting for Hatzalah when I was still a teenager.
The values that shaped Moch's life would soon empower him to summon extraordinary courage on one of history's darkest days.
On the way there is when we heard that a second plane hit. At that point, we started thinking this is no accident, this has to be a terrorist attack. What was interesting is even as we were driving to the city, we had firemen and policemen stopping us to join us in the ambulance, to rush towards the scene. We arrived and we were stationed at the foot of the Twin Towers on West Street. Because the debris was falling and because of the heat and the danger to my crew, I literally told my team that we're going to start walking away from the tower, the base of the tower, across the street, and we're going to stand under the overpass so we're protected from the debris coming down. All of a sudden, you felt the earth shake, the noise, the shaking, and I actually saw the SWAT members running, dropping their weapons and just running. I saw beams falling down and smashing a fire truck, and everyone just started running. I took a second to look behind me to see what I'm running from. And literally there was a white cloud coming at me from behind with this huge blackness. And I knew I'm not gonna make it too far. You were unable to see, you couldn't breathe. I jumped behind the car and there were other people behind there and literally trying to protect ourselves from that gust of darkness that enveloped us. People started saying Shema around me. I actually started saying Shema, thinking this is it. And I told myself, I'm not doing this. I literally stopped saying Shema. I said, I'm getting out of this. When it got to the point where you could see a little bit, I started making my way towards the financial center across the street. Walked out into a surreal winter wonderland. Literally you had white ash coming down like snow, and people were calling for help. And I actually walked with my trauma bag to patch up a few people. When I came out, people started screaming, you have to evacuate the area. So there was actually an Hatzalah ambulance parked in this area. They managed to get it started up, and we were able to get to the water. And we took all the equipment we can, and we walked along the waterway. That's when the boats started coming from the water against the shore. We were helping people over the fence to get them onto the boats to take them to Jersey. We continued doing that up until the point where they were concerned the second tower was going to come down, and that's when we ourselves had to evacuate. And we ended up going over to Jersey City. When we got there, we found out there was no triage. We actually set up a triage center on the other side of Jersey City. We stayed there until a message came back they needed additional people back in the city. And we ended up getting onto a ferry, which took us to Chelsea Piers. At Chelsea Piers, I regrouped with other members of Hatzalah, and 2 of them were not doing very well. They had trouble breathing, very severe headaches. So I took them onto a Hatzalah ambulance. I gave oxygen and treatments to the other Hatzalah members, and they actually drove us to Crown Heights. I did not get home till after 6. My wife had no idea if I was alive or not, and that's when she finally found out. Thank God we got a message over the radio by the end of the day that all Hatzalah members survived. We had Hatzalah members that were trapped in fire, and yet they survived. Hashem protects those that are there to protect others.
Heroes are shaped long before they're called upon to act with extraordinary courage. And when the call comes, they answer again and again.
You think that after an episode like this, I sort of told myself, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do this again. I don't know if this is something I could put my family through again. And I don't know if you remember about the plane down in the Hudson with Captain Sullenberger, who's recently making the news again. When I was in Midtown, working in Midtown, the call came out, plane down in the Hudson. And believe it or not, I ran to the ambulance.